Hey guys, what's this?
And this?
And these have to do with my Jeep? Stick around and find out. Alright guys, we've had the Jeep for a while now, and this has been my current setup on my tailgate. I use kind of like a molly system to hang some bags up, and I've absolutely really not used these for anything. So today we're going to take those off and we're going to build a tailgate table for camping, because that's something I do a lot of. So let's get into it and mock it up and see what we can build. Alright, first thing we got to do is get these pouches off, so let's do that and then maybe take this panel off and see what we can mount into with our brackets. These just pop right off. Got some clips on the inside. Goes around. If you have any left in your door, just pop them off and put them back on the plastic tabs. And then we just want to snap them back on to our trim piece. And that's that. Now we got a blank space to work with. Just put a little bit of it back up so I can get my board and figure out my width. Now with the JL's tailgate, you have this big plastic piece back here, and it's the trail ready system where you can put your molly stuff on, but it don't leave you a whole lot of metal down here to work with. So I've come up with either using a hinge system made out of just little L brackets that can raise up and down, or I may try to actually use hinges and pre-drill some hose through here and use a bolt nut and washers to hold it on securely, and then it can fold up that way. After thinking it over for a few minutes, I believe I'm going to use the hinges, because that'll also keep the board up a little higher from this lip, because I'm not always sure how it's going to close here, especially with my little cargo compartment. I keep my tools down in there. Sometimes it lips up, so that'll make sure that the tailgate can close fully. So I'm going to mount it right here. I'm going to drill 3 holes, and probably run nuts and bolts with washers to help secure it on there good, and we'll put one on each side. So now we need to measure this, get our length of our board. The width is already fine, I've checked that out, and then we can take this panel back off and pre-drill our holes and see what we got on the other side. And I believe we can get 28 inch. So our table would be 28 inches long, and let me check the width of it. Looks like an 11.5 inches on the width. So 28 by 11.5, that should give us good workspace. Now, after cutting this and mocking it all up to make sure it works and fits, I am going to sand this down and stain it. Really, this whole project ain't going to be out of pocket, maybe $8 for the hinges and some screws. This is an old shelving board I had left over, and I had some old stain laying around too, so pretty cheap project, being that most of these tables are anywhere from $80 to $300. There's just no way I wanted to fork that out. And when it's folded up, I'm gonna put my stickers on the back side of it. So let's get this board cut. Be sure to use your eye protection. Now let's see how it'll look. Not bad. I'm excited for this. Alright guys, now we're going to get this trim piece back off. We are going to see what's in behind these areas that I want the hinges. And if it's all clear and good, we'll go ahead and drill some pilot holes and see what we got as far as clearance, and if we can put the bolts on the nuts in the back, and should be shaping up real quick. So good little tip, if you're taking this off, over here where your wires come in is a good place to start popping your clips. And it looks like on the back is a good solid place where we can drill our holes and be able to put washers and our bolts and nuts through. So that idea will work. So now to mock these up, I'm just gonna take a Sharpie and line this rail up with my center screw and then make our marks. Perfect fit. Now, let's bolt them up and see what we got. I drilled my holes kind of small so they would thread in. That'll give it a little more security. As you can see on the back side, they come through, so put a washer on each one of these and nut, tighten them down, and that should be plenty enough to support it. And I'll show you what I have in mind for the top. I'm going to use paracord, but I'll show you what I'm going to tie it off to. Now I'm going to tie my paracord into this little corner piece using one of these L brackets. I'm going to bolt that right into the metal, tie off to that, and down to my table. So when it comes down, I'll have one on each side and that'll support the weight. Now let's put our other hinge on and get the board mocked up, drill those holes, screw them all together, and we'll see what it kind of looks like before we're actually finished here. And now just using wood screws, I am going to screw that straight into the bottom plate. I'm putting these in by hand. I didn't want to use a drill and take a risk of splitting them. Just going to torque it down lightly. This isn't really going to hold the weight. The paracord will hold the weight. This will just kind of give us our shelf height and hold the board to the trim piece. All right, guys, and with it just mocked up, this is how it'll look in the up position. And that's how it'll be on the down position. Now, before I tighten everything up and make it final, I'm going to take everything back out, back off. I think I'm going to spray paint these black. I'm going to sand the board and stain it, and then we'll put it all back together. And we still got to put our brackets up there, which I might do real quick. Let's pop this piece off and look. I was going to use these L brackets. What I'll do is notch it out right there and screw that in just like I did the bottom boards, and then I'll be able to tie my paracord off to it. That's what I was talking about, notching that for that bracket, and then that piece will fit back on and I can tie my paracord out and down to the board. So I'm going to do it on the other side and get them bolted in. All right, now I'm going back and just putting my washers and my nuts on the back there to give it more support. That way it won't rip through the plastic or anything, but as you can see, that's going to be plenty enough to hold it. So I'm going to put those in and then I'll torque them down. And what I believe. All right, guys, it is getting dark out here. I've troubleshot everything that I believe could go wrong. I've got a good plan of how this is going to come together. I've got most of the brackets in and painted, and I got an ideal to reinforce the trim piece that goes on, because it's just those plastic tabs that's going to be holding up the whole table with the paracord. So I've got a way now to put that to the tailgate, actually into metal, and secure it on. And I'll try to show you that real quick before it gets too dark. We may have to finish this up in the morning. Now the tailgate has these pre-drilled, I guess, just little knobs. I don't know if it's for something with the rail trail system, but I am going to use little brackets on that onto the plastic trim, so if anything pulls, it'll be bolted in, and that'll help support it. I'll show you that in the morning when I get it all put together. I think we're going to have to end it here unless this lighting's good with my gate light that I've put up. So we might try to finish it. All right, like I said, these knobs come through there, and I've just found some old just metal brackets and some screws that fit that. And what I'm going to do is just screw those in just like that, and that way it'll catch this plastic trim. If there's too much weight on that and it does pull it, it'll keep this from popping off. So just a little extra stability here, and it bolts right up. I'm going to do both sides that way real quick. And then all we have to do is put our Jeep piece back on. Might have to trim it a bit from the looks of it, just a hair. And there we go with the Jeep trim piece back on. And I got my brackets to tie off from my paracord to go down to my table. So we'll pick this back up in the morning for me and right now for you. And we're back. Now, what has just been a second for you has been a whole morning of rain and half the day of rain before I could get back out here and finish filming. But it did give me time to figure out how I'm going to secure this up top. Let me show you what I figured out. Now what I'm going to do is drill holes in each corners to run my paracord through. Then underneath that, I'm just going to use a spring-loaded like shock cord and then a rubber washer. And that way, when the table's folded up, I can cinch these to the top and it'll hold the board in place, in theory. That's what we're going to try. So let's get some holes drilled and get this tied up. Now you can see once I get that tied in, it'll come straight down and then go through our holes that we just drilled. Now to secure this, I'm just going to use a double half hitch, and that should hold any load that I put on that. So I'm going to get me some strand here, cut, and do the other side, and then we'll tie our cinches on and we'll see how it looks. Alright, now we're going to thread our rubber washer on, and the reason I'm using rubber and plastic is I don't want this thing to rattle when I'm going up and down the road. And then use our little shock tie cinch. Let's see how that does. That's just one side and it's holding it pretty good. Yeah, I think that's going to work, guys. So that's how it's going to work. And then when I want it down, of course I'm going to have it tied off to what level I want, but that's about what it's going to look like. Alright guys, there it is, level. I mean, it's stout. I've put me a stopper knot on each side. Let's put my tool bag on there. It's probably about 20 pounds, so I mean, no problem, 20 pounds. Now, let's put it in the up position here. And that'll secure it by going down the road. Keep it from making too much noise or falling down. So there it is, guys, my tailgate table for a Jeep JL. This is a 2018 model. As you can see, there's no frame. It's real clean looking, and that'll support some weight. And if these cables ever stretch or wear out, I mean, it's just 550 paracord. I can replace that, no problem. But I'm really happy with this improvement. This is something I've been wanting for camping. Gives me just a little extra workspace in the Jeep. So I hope this has helped you. And I know there's not a whole lot of videos on the JL on how people do it yourself with these, but this is my take on it. Hope it's helped. Guys, stick around. Please subscribe to the channel. Like these videos, and as I come up with more ideas and improve more stuff on the Jeep or in camping and traveling, I will bring it all to you. Guys, thanks for watching. It's been Jason from Man's Adventures. God bless.